Hello everyone and welcome back once again to my channel on Sengupta Travel and Photography. Now today I am starting a new segment where I am going to be talking about various photography gears and equipment. Since my channel is 50% photography, so I thought why not do something like that and keep you guys updated to every happening in the industry. Now I have chosen, luckily, the right time to begin this segment since Nikon has just announced their Z50 mirrorless crop sensor camera. The Z50 was announced yesterday and many Nikon users were eagerly waited for this camera. But before I get started on the Z50 and what it's all about, let me remind you to subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon while you're subscribing so that you can get a notification about all my future videos. So having got that out of the way, let's get started. Now Nikon launched its two full-frame mirrorless cameras last year, the Z6 and the Z7, and they were good, but they were meant for upper echelons of Nikon's customer. The Z50, being a crop sensor camera, would serve Nikon's customers who were mainly using Nikon's entry-level DSLR or say the 7000 series of DSLRs. So what all Z50 is really offering? Let's have a look. The Z50 at first glance looks like the Z6 and the Z7, and you will not notice any difference. They just look very similar. Nikon has carried forward the Z6 and Z7's design language to this camera as well. You get a total of 3 dials, one for various shooting modes and 2 more for shutter speed and aperture. You get a top button for exposure compensation and a dedicated button for controlling ISO. From the photos I have seen, the grip looks quite deep, which is always a good thing. On the top, you also get a pop-up flash, which was standard for any Nikon DSLR, and it's no different in Nikon's first crop sensor mirrorless. At the front, you get 2 dedicated customizable function buttons. In the back, all the buttons are located on the right-hand side of the camera, which is again a good thing. The 3.2-inch LCD display in the back has some amount of touchscreen function, for instance, slide function while checking photos, and zoom in and zoom out functions. There's also a display on and off button, which is again a cool thing, since when you're using the viewfinder, you can just turn your display off and accidentally do not sort of alter any settings of the camera. The screen also flips down, which means selfie lovers and vloggers will find it useful. Now, one good news here is that the Z50 also uses the same Z mount that the Z6 and the Z7 had. So if you already had bought a few Z series lenses, you can also use them in the Z50 as well. But if you have other Nikon lenses or any other Nikon compatible lenses you want to use, you have to have the F2Z adapter. Now coming to the sensor, the main part of the camera, the Z50 comes with a 20.9 megapixel APS-C crop sensor, which I find a little disappointing. I think 20.9 is a little low on megapixel count, and I'm not a pixel peeper, but I think I was at least expecting a 24 megapixel cameras, sort of the standard feature that any DSLR or mirrorless has these days. On the ISO front, the camera has a pretty good range of ISO. Native ISO is 100 to 51,200 and can be expanded to 2,04,800. The camera has only one SD card slot, and it is housed in the area where you would put the battery of the camera. Now, when it comes to shooting speed, the camera has a maximum shooting speed of 11 frames per second through the viewfinder. But when you're using the live view, the shooting rate would come down to 5 frames per second. Nikon Z50 comes with 209 autofocus points, which covers 87% of a scene horizontally and 85% of the screen vertically. In low light mode, this camera can focus at -4 exposure value, which is, I feel, is even better than the D7500. The Z50 would be able to shoot 4K at 30 FPS. It also has a 1080p slow motion mode, and you can now share videos from the camera to phone wirelessly. As far as battery life is concerned, the camera can shoot up to 300 photos or 75 minutes of video on a full charge of its battery. If you're using the live view, that is, I think the maximum photos you can click would come down to around 270 to 280 and not more than that. So which is, again, I think it's not that bad. Now, one of the biggest problems I'm seeing with the Z50, the camera is meant for selfie lovers and vloggers, but vloggers use gimbals and tripods to sort of stabilize their footage. Now, remember, the Z50 does not have a built-in stabilizer. So if you're vlogging with the Z50, you have to have a gimbal. Now, when you use the gimbal, there comes the problem because the back screen flips down. What happens when you're using the gimbal? How do the LCD screen flips down, or would it really hamper the view of the vlogger to the screen? And I think it would. What happens when you use a tripod? You cannot use the flipping down screen, so it is a huge problem. Another criticism I have, although I haven't used the camera as yet, I'll be able to give a more detailed review when I use the camera, is that sensor. 20.9 megapixel is a little low. I was expecting a bit more, at least 24. So 20.9, I think a little on the lower side. The Z50 will start shipping from November. The camera would be available with 2 new DX lenses that Nikon has just announced. The combined price of the camera and the lenses are on your screen now. Do remember that the price has only been announced in US dollars and no Indian rupee price has been announced as yet. So that's why you're only seeing the US dollar price. Once the Indian prices are announced, I'll let you know what they are. So that's it from me on the Z50. Again, I said it's a new segment I'm introducing. Do let me know how did you like the video. What kind of other videos would you like to see on my channel? Do give it a thumbs up to the video if you liked it, and do leave your comment in the comment section. Do subscribe to this channel, and while you're subscribing, do press the bell icon so that you can get notified about all my future videos. So that's it for now. Till the next video. Bye.